went to my municipality back in 2007. I thought that if we could just get the government to do the right thing, then we would be like in really good shape. And so over the year after working with them, what I realized is that what the government itself can do is only a sliver of making a sustainable community. There's only X number of buildings, employees that can be affected by policies, vehicles.
They don't even know also what to do either.
Right, but even if they did everything right, it's still really the rest of the community that needs to be engaged. And that's why, we, decided to form a nonprofit that focuses on education and outreach. We are part of the township's Green Action Plan of forming this nonprofit. And so what we do is we do education and outreach, and we try and engage everyday people, not the same slice of people that have always been interested in this stuff, but the business people, the faith people, parents, whatever your reason is to care about the future, we try and engage you through our task forces working on certain things and through education and outreach. And so I think it's really important for all of us to remember, even though this is a municipally administered program, that it really is important to remember the community piece of it. And that there's only X number of points that you can, get on that end. But even once you get those points, that's just the beginning, as far as I'm concerned. That's just the foundation. And then it's really working together as a community and changing hearts and minds. And the thing I think is that, what has the most impact? Is it this action or that? I think the impact is educating and engaging your community so that they get it and that they start making changes themselves and also demanding things of their schools and their governments.
The nice thing about the Sustainable Jersey program is because you are able to customize the program according to your town. So a town like Haddon Heights, my friends here, that have a main street and closer access to public transportation, and they're a lot smaller, they would choose different actions necessarily than Cherry Hill or Gloucester Township. And so I think that that's a really important thing to understand, because when you're starting with the municipality, for example, like Cherry Hill, that we can, to change the infrastructure of our town would be a bit of a heavy lift, but yet we have so many people that we could maybe do education and outreach with, or lots of buildings that we could do energy efficiency with. So it allows us to use the strengths that we have to build upon, and then some of the things that might be a heavier lift might be something, more down the line.
Can I? In a different way, and it was because of the league of when I first was elected. They had the league, so I thought that I should go down and take some classes, and I went through the little book, and that looked interesting, and then here we are.
The League of Municipalities.
We're certified, yeah, League of Municipalities. So it was great that it was actually me reading and just walking into a class and becoming fascinated. And now we will be certified in November, which is wonderful. Yes, it was a lot of work. But one thing that I did want to say for anybody who's in a government or elected official, I would just say be open-minded when green teams come to you, or when somebody comes to you with an idea. Be open-minded to hear what they have to say. On the other side, I would say for the citizens to come in and don't come in and. I would recommend not saying this is the way this is it, this is what I want to do. It's great to come in and say this is work with your teams, because even mine as the green team, we had an environmental committee. Well, I didn't want to come in and just say to everybody, okay, they got scared, our environmental committee, and they thought we were just going to take over. But what I did was I asked them to be a part of the green team, which now the woman that runs that and myself are such good friends, and we work together, and we've come up with some great ideas. So, and then other sectors, we went to our farmers market, but don't make everybody feel like you're going to invade and take over. Say that I want to work together, I want to partner with you.
And can you say a few of the ideas that have happened, like things that have come out of that?
Yes, for our, my farmers market, when I went to them, and what I do is I would take myself and a couple of our green team members, and we'd go to all their meetings, and we would sit there and present our ideas. Well, they wound up being thrilled that, because you're right, there aren't a whole lot of volunteers, so they were thrilled that we could give them a different perspective. So what we did is we have our teen greens, and we got them through our schools who formed green teams, and they go and they read while the parents are shopping at the farmers market. They read about green initiatives to the kids. So that's one of them that we did. Our Rotary, we're working with them. They definitely want to be involved, so they're going to help us in different initiatives.
Well, they're very predisposed to service, so that's
Yes, so they're
Absolutely.
ready. Our scholarship committee, they always ran a green fair. I mean, not a green fair, I'm sorry. They ran a fair to get scholarship money for kids going to college. And so I went to them and we sat down with them and said, we'd love to green your fair. And again, they are skeptical in the beginning. But then when you say it's friendly and tell them that you don't have to do anything. And once you tell people they don't have to do anything, they're fine. We're going to do it all. It's a community event and we're going to make it better. Well, it was so wonderful. Yeah, and so exciting, and so they're onto this. They just want to grow, and even the vendors that were there, they loved it. They loved that we put signs there and talked about recycling, and next year they want to get bigger and better. So that's exciting to reach out to all your different groups. And I guess my best compliment was that somebody from the community came to me. We had through our Mayor's Wellness campaign, we did a flag football game, which I'm still sore from. But they were great because a community, a resident came to me and said, you know what, through your green team, you have brought our community together and I see laughter. And that was the best compliment that I could get. So my advice is for the government to be open-minded and for the residents who are starting this to just go in and say, let's have a partnership.
Well, I mean, Lori is pretty predominant in the area, so let me ask you this. Do you have strategies in place? I know you do, but maybe you could share some strategies to help facilitate the process between the municipalities and the community members. Are there things that you have set up that maybe you could share?
Sure, and I think, Michelle and I have talked about this a lot because, we're both working with our green teams, me from a community perspective and Michelle from the municipal perspective. And I think that's one of the hardest things. I think having a municipality and a community work together is probably harder than all of the actions put together on Sustainable Jersey, except in places where the magic just happens. It takes a lot of work, and I really love the whole no blame approach because I really found that by forming relationships and working together and not having that distrust that often exists between the municipality and the community members, based on past experience. Like I know when I went to my first council meeting ever, all I saw were community members complaining about things. And I understand. I understand that. But what happened is over the course of about a year, I spent quite a lot of time in my municipality, in the offices, like meeting people, working with people, developing a sustainability plan. I got to see things a little bit from the other side. And I think that really gave me a really good perspective on how things work, that it's really very hard to change a system, a complex system. And so thinking about where you want to be and the vision of where you want to be is so important, but at the same time understanding that things happen incrementally and that you have to work with people where they are, whether it's community members who aren't yet engaged or whether it's your mayor or council or somebody who works in your municipality, is really understanding where things are, how the system works, and then how you can work together to move that system forward.
When I first went and presented this to the mayor, the first thing he said was, well, Michelle, I don't have any money for this. Like, what is it going to take? And so what we did was, so this didn't cost us anything because we went through the actions. I had my green team. We sat there. We went through every single one, which it was really a long day. It was day into night, because I wanted to go into the mayor and be totally prepared, and that's what you should do. So we made a list of actions that we thought we would like to do. And then we went in, we sat with the mayor, and we sat with our business administrator and our public works director. And we went in and we explained every single action that we thought would be great for us to do. And they did. They were so kind and sat and said, well, this one, we understand why it's good, but we just can't do it right now. So put that on hold. So we put some on hold, and then we did, and then they said, okay, go with that one, go with that one. So, so to be honest with you, the only money that it cost came out of my pocket, just for small little extras that I wanted to do. So, but it didn't cost us anything, but what it did do, which was exciting, is that it really got them energized, and that's when the mayor thought, you know what, we're doing this. We are becoming a green community, and that's when he went out and we did a massive energy master plan, which was all grant money. And we did, we wound up getting solar panels from grant money that are on our building, which the savings is phenomenal. I actually wrote it down so I can tell everybody. Should I tell you later? This is so exciting. So, I wrote it down. So in July of 2010, our bill was $12,668.
The electric bill.
The electric bill. And in 2011, $4,243.81. I know. I was so excited. So, and it's you'll be so proud to think you had a little piece of that, had something to do with that. In August, it was $11,621.88, and we went down to $5,708.95. And we have in our municipal building a solar, it's an actual machine that goes and tells you how many trees we saved, how many, it gives you this whole breakdown. And you can now, I just was told that now it's up and running on our website. So if you go onto our website, you can, all the residents, it's all transparent. You can see all the savings.
Gotta love transparency.
Lori and I have been doing is there's a group of us that created a networking group. So I'll let Lori talk about it if you
Sure,
like.
sure.
And
Well,
there's a reason for that.
I wanted to bring up two things about regional. Number one, I realized just in all the work that I was doing and helping all my neighbors with Sustainable Jersey, that it really, even though it's a municipally administered program, that we really need to think regionally, and that's very, very important. Whether it's through some very specific things like doing a green fair together, or just in general looking at things regionally. And also the county, Camden County, has asked me and a few of others of us to help them to make a sustainable Camden County. So how can county operations be made more sustainable, and how can the county serve as a resource and a conduit for all the municipalities in Camden County who are working on Sustainable Jersey, etc. And then the other thing, and I'll get to this in a second, the other thing is just right here at this building in August, Senator Robert Menendez proposed a bill that he was introducing that has since been introduced called the Sustainable States Act, where he's actually taking the Sustainable Jersey framework and proposing this bill where there will be some funding involved for different states. I think it's maybe 30 states. It's not for everyone. It's a little bit competitive to be able to use this framework and customize it according to their state, because just like Haddon Heights and Cherry Hill are different, Texas and New Jersey are different. And so there really is a move to be looking at how can we have local efforts but be done on a national level. And then getting back to what Stacy was talking about, we are having a regional sustainability gathering. It's our second one. We had one back at Camden County College in March, and it was really successful. We really feel that we can learn the most from each other. And so I have plenty of these up here. It's free. And it's on the 27th of this month. It's in Burlington County this time, in Mount Laurel.
Yeah, we're moving it around, so that's the point. It's regional. We're not,
Right.
So the next time, hopefully, we'll have it in Gloucester County.
Yeah. So we're having it. There's a bunch right here you can grab. There's some out there. It's from 6:30 to 7 is networking, and then 7 o'clock there's a program. Michelle's going to be presenting more specifically on how she engaged her community.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that are talking about the economy and business, and so maybe we can't give you a grant to start or fund your Main Street program, but I think there are a number of ideas in here that you can do without getting funding, just with some elbow grease that would support the local business community and bring the sustainable connection to it. And there's sort of nuts and bolts guides on how you might do that. You can do a buy local campaign, and actually we did give Summit a Sustainable Jersey grant to essentially do a buy local campaign. So, you know, we do fund campaigns, but you're right, it is usually something innovative that could be a model. And you could do a green business or sustainable business recognition program, which is very simply, you get together in the town with you know, your leadership and say, you know, what is it we want to see from our businesses that will support our long-term vision, and we'll make a bulleted list of what those things are, and if they do it, we'll recognize them. So we'll work with the local Chamber of Commerce, and we'll get the council to give a proclamation to the businesses that do it, and if they do it, you celebrate them, and you give them exposure in the town, so maybe more people will patronize those businesses, which is really what they want. And you can create sort of a rewards structure that way. So if you look in here, you'll see there's a lot of things that you could potentially do that might may or may not get you towards having a Main Street organization. It may, because maybe it's sort of you're stepping towards it on building support, but can accomplish a lot of the things that you're trying to accomplish anyway, which is to support the local business community.